Night Live, and also the last trading daily candle before the futures market will come back on tomorrow and we get into more of a balance. I really wanted to see a surge going into this candle and get a little bit of a push up here and start approaching that 93K plus area for Bitcoin. We had a seamless back test seemingly across the market, so it gave me a little bit of I don't want to say 100% confirmation, but it gave me a lot of confidence that we can continue this up to the next 7 to 9% plateau. I'm not looking past that. I like to take each area as it is, as we're here every single day, multiple times a day. And I like to have quite a balance here, so I try to keep the support resistance areas within view. And then as we do this, we can start to line it up. A perfect example of what we're going to be talking about today is how H-bar, it's not only broken out, but then when you look at the short-term consolidation on a Saturday, it was absolutely perfect so far if it holds. And it's trying to have a breakout here. And if it breaks out of here, I mean, you're going to be talking about that 13 cent would be the next area, right up over the top, 13.1 cents. And then ultimately, as this pattern continues to progress, as you're coming out of a descending wedge, you can very easily push yourself up and start to test that 18.6 cent area if this starts to play out properly. Not a joke, not a flex, not a hopium given, none of that. That's what you're expecting if this plays out properly. Can it get you all the way up to the next resistance? It very well can. It very well can. And then in the short term, though, I'd be remiss to say, oh, well, you know, we can just go up there unabated without actually talking about the short term that's going on here. We first got to get out of the small consolidation. And then we have this little, it's got to come up here to this 13.1 cent approximately. And ultimately overtake this drop point at 14. But it seems pretty built in. If this actually holds this consolidation and we don't have to jump back down and this isn't a fake out. I mean, it seems pretty good to get us, maybe it's 13.5 actually. It's pretty fair. That area is fair if we get down there, but I just wanted to start with that just because it's one of the ones in the very short term where you can pull it up on a very small chart and be like, you know what? That's a nice little back test it's doing right now if it can actually hold it. So that was a good place to start. But if this is a fake out to start this candle, it's something, but we do have some volume. Volume predicts price. That's a nice volume spike, at least compared to the consolidation candles. Now we need to see if this continues on. That's a 10 million candle in the 30-minute right now. The average, it's like 30 times bigger than what was coming in. We'll see if it stays green, if this is the sign of something bigger to come. Because it was quite interesting how everything seemed to spike up there right at the flip of the clock. XRP jumped up. And it really fit perfectly with what I put in the title 30 minutes ago when I set this up, because I put XRP sets up continued rally, XLM H-bar seamless backtest should lead to 7 to 9% push, and Bitcoin to 93K plus. And that's just how I titled it. So good evening, 7:24 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Saturday, January 3rd, 2026. I'm XRP future millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. Now you could say XRP future with the side bet on the XXX Haas strategy, future millionaire or millionaire. I think if we look at this properly, I really do believe in the XXX Haas strategy. A lot of people like the hat. I mean, it was a good way to, it was a Christmas gift I got from my significant other, Julie. And it actually seamlessly worked. Like, this seamlessly fit. Because then we had the drop. And then we had I talked about the strategy before the drop, that last little pull down that emulated XDC's pull down. So it didn't catch us off guard, but it allowed us to react in a very positive way. And been very clear. That's my focus going forward in 2026 is the XXX Haas strategy. If you're new, it's XRP, XLM, XDC, HBAR, and Algo. It's something that's been part of the plan for years. But it's so very important as we're in these very low levels for H-bar and algo and XDC and XLM. XRP, we've already been solidified. You know, we don't really have to do anything with it unless you want to add more, which I'm not in the position that where I want to add more. I appreciate having it at sub 35 cents. So I'm not looking to raise my blood pressure by raising my average up. I just appreciate where I was able to do it when it was at. And I appreciate the opportunity being able to be an XLM, an XDC, an H-bar, an algo, as I believe they all have the pillar of their own. And they're at where I believe are in more advantageous spots for the amount of capital that you would have to spend to get the same amount of tokens for XRP as to where it was when this rally started back in 23. It kicked off in 24, but the lower numbers were in 23. You got one chance in 24 when it had 38.5 cents approximately. A couple months before we actually broke out, which was a phenomenal back test. Bitcoin, I'd be remiss not to talk about it. Up about 550 points in the last 27 minutes, $550. Again, another seamless breakout. I mean, there's not much I would have changed from here. That's an ascending triangle. You know it's not an ascending wedge, and I'll give you a little hint. The reason why this is like an ascending triangle and not wedge is because you have a stationary resistance. See how it's a flat resistance? And then it's the uptrending support. This proves that that's an ascending triangle instead of an ascending wedge. Had this have been downtrending resistance, uptrending support, then we could have talked. I mean, yes, you can make it a little bit of a downtrend, but for the most part, this is a pretty flat support. I think we can all acknowledge straight across. You got a pretty flat support here. So that's the difference if you're ever wondering between an ascending wedge or a descending wedge. If you get that flat support, it's a pretty good bet. Or I mean the flat resistance. If one side of it, you know, in this case the resistance is flat, and then the uptrending support, this proves that it's an ascending wedge and a bullish continuation pattern, in my opinion. Now, I could be wrong. You know, I'm not the smartest guy in the room, nor do I want to be, because once you're the smartest guy in the room, you're the dumbest guy in the room because you are not open to anybody else's interpretation. You can't grow. Once you stop growing, it's a zero-sum game. So in this game, we've got to continue growing not just our ideals, but our beliefs on what's going on. So that's just, and I circled that earlier before this even broke out because it looked like a bullish consolidation to the top. So I mean, this is all seemingly running in its own little direction now, and I'm pretty excited about it, to be honest with you. We're back within this FVG box, and we said even if we were bearish the top side of this, we should be aiming up here. Let me put this up here. That's why the arrow's pointing there. That's also, you know, this whole hold here. We did phenomenal. Every single thing I wanted to see today is playing out, so I can't be mad. Now, we're not psychic, so we don't know if it'll play out like we expect. But from everything we're seeing right now, we have a reason to be more than just cautiously optimistic. We've moved into moderately optimistic. If we break back below $2, we go back to cautiously optimistic. If Bitcoin breaks back below 90,000 or 89,800, back to cautiously optimistic. Right now, moderately optimistic for the 7 to 9% continuation in altcoins. I think that's pretty fair. XRP might not be as much on this initial move because we've got to get past one big area. Oh man, I'm so excited though. Look how we're bouncing off of this. Oh Lord have mercy if this breaks. Oh God, please. Because this will push. Once we break past this on a hold, we're in wave 4 expansion officially. And that means we have the potential here. And then, oh no, don't get it twisted, ladies and gentlemen. This isn't the end of this move if this plays here. This would be just the start. Because then you would be expecting, okay, let's say then it goes here, then it comes here. And then you would expect this, in my opinion, probably be aiming somewhere up here to exhaust wave 4. It would fit perfectly. Now you could rotate down before that, but that's what you're looking for. And then what would end up happening, everybody would be crying for a bull season, and then unfortunately you gotta have the 5th wave down. That would probably come here. And then we can start talking about how aggressive we want to be if we hold on a 5 wave up. Like, how aggressive is the first move? Is it a V shape? Then we could expand, you know, and then we have to go 5 up, and it could get very explosive. But that's, you know, that's what we're looking like, something like that if I had to guess. if I'm trying to be realistic with the audience and I'm trying to show you what we're trying to build our position in, and then with the understanding we have, understand that if we do start a fresh down, it wouldn't be like a whole big, unless we break up and we could invalidate the structure down. I mean, that's what's been in my mind for a long time now. We don't have to put this up here to make it look like it's going to be the albeit bounce. We're going to have to see how it reacts right here, obviously, when it comes down, if it does. So, I mean, you could just put it like this and be like, well, you got to see how it reacts here, and then it's going to be that, you know. So, but then I would expect if it did something like this, if we were that volatile coming down, you'd probably come back up here, exhaust it, come back into here, you know, and then probably have some kind of big bottoming if it's going to do it and come out like this. Perfect world, that's what I want in this broadening wedge, because it would completely validate this broadening wedge, and you'd have a bunch of support coming back up. It would exhaust the 5 waves of the Elliott wave theory, which again, it's only a theory, but I think that's the way that I would like to see it play out. And right now, it's trying to take my route, and if it takes my route, it's extremely bullish going into the middle of next year. I mean, this year, it's going to be extremely bullish for midterms, and it's going to get an incredible opportunity if it plays out to where we could have a nice rally here to start the year, fatten up our portfolio, and then be able to follow it back down if we do go into the, you know, the 5th wave down. And then it's just going to be expansive out. It's going to be a 5 wave up after that, and it's going to be explosive. Now, does it mean it has to stop there? No, but in my perfect world, that's where it would stop. I'm completely understanding that it can come lower than that, but I'm saying in my perfect world, this is how I want to see this play out. And I know it might rub some people the wrong way because it hits that resistance and then pulls back down. But after this, you got to look at the benefit. If it plays this properly, then all of a sudden you're looking at a move up to here, back test, then the next wave would be up here, back test, and then you would expand out near $5 to $6. It would be very quick, very concise, and it would be a fantastic, let's just say, payoff for everybody who was in this for a couple of years. A phenomenal payoff. It would just be a phenomenal payoff. And I know a lot of people's expectations. Some people will leave when I talk about this because they're like, what do you mean? That's it? Because they've got other people telling them 10,000, 5,000, 1,000. But keep your expectations grounded. And then if it ever did get up to some magical run outside of what we are even expecting, you thank your lucky stars. But don't transition your mindset away from reality on hopium, because then you're never going to be satisfied. It's the same reason why when you gamble, you sports bet, you go to the casino, you win money, it never seems like a lot. But the moment you lose a few dollars, it seems like a lot. It's a mind trick. Don't get caught up in the I don't want to say unachievable expectations, but the improbable expectation. So I firmly believe the way we're going to grow this, and we have grown this since 21, and the way that we've adapted and our understanding, all you have to do is look at the hat. I know it goes inverted, but at least it's able to be seen. That's a massive strategy. It's a massive strategy, and it's not something that I put together lightly. And I've been talking about it for quite some time. And then when the time was right, I really started talking about it a few days ago. Like, this is the plan. This is the plan. There's no going around it. There's nothing I can do about it. This is just the way it goes. So, I do welcome everybody in. I haven't even looked at the comments. I have no idea how many people are here. I like it better that way, I think. I like it better that way when I start. And then I can kind of flow into the comments after I get a little visual out for everybody. Algo. Perfect push. I mean, it's just another... It's just the way that this broke down when it came down to its support structure. I mean, I could not have drawn this any better. I really couldn't have. I could not have done this any better. If we were asking about what we want for, it's done it absolutely by the book. By the book, and the weeklies are just rounding up. This leads me to believe that this is going to be about a 3 to 5 week rally as we were predicting before. And then if we get lucky and some kind of weird thing happens, You know, maybe we can invalidate the fifth wave down just to extreme strength. It happens. If when the Elliott wave doesn't fill the entire wave count because it either breaks bearish for some reason or it breaks bullish, it's a real conveyor of the market. That would be a super bullish continuation. But we still need to see if this plays out. You know, we need to see if this plays out in this way. So far, so good. So far, so good. There's nothing that I would change. Nothing. Whoops. Ethereum. How's it looking right now since the flip? Yeah, it stayed above there too. I mean, there's nothing I would change. Nice little cup formed back around, but it's got a little bit higher and then higher. There's nothing I would change here. Like, I really like what I'm seeing with these structural. I mean, this is within the structure, obviously. It's a much wider pattern, but I guess if we look at it in the short term, on this little strut up, you know, when it's strutting and stuff, we don't even have to go down there. We can kind of, you know what? We do need to go down there. It gives us our uptrend. It makes it a little bit better. Uptrending support. Sounds good. Everything going good? Oh, it was?
Yeah, we got 2 big garbage bags.
Ooh.
There's a lot of stuff.
Oh, I know there is. I mean, this has been a pretty prototypical, pretty standard move up. We want to make sure that we don't come all the way back down here and start riding it again. It's attempting a push up. But I mean, we just had the flip of the clock. It's a good sign for Asia right now as the Asian markets come in. So they'll be excited to see a little bit of green if it continues. Let me see how many people are here. 96. Make sure to hit that like button. About 60% have hit the like button. I appreciate that. I appreciate everybody who's in here as well. Mr. and Mrs. Stott, thanks for being in town on 3+ months with the XRP Meteor, along with Bright Freedom. Who else for 3 months? Maple Man, thank you so much for that. Bearded Viking, welcome in. Thank you so much for being in town on 3+ months with the XRP Meteor. And we pray for Marty Marcus as he's fighting a good fight, as are you. We pray for your continued guidance from our Lord and Savior Yahweh. Amen. I'm glad to see you in here. I'm blessed to see you in here, Bearded Viking. Moza here, good evening, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 2 years with the XLB 589 Moon Badge along with Jeffrey. Good evening to both of you. Crazy Pull, thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So Badge. Bounce Back, J Permix, good evening. Good evening. Dan Marginal, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 3 months with the XRP Meteor. Let's see. Mark Caston, thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So Bad with Crazy Pull. Appreciate that. Knick Knack Paddywhack, good evening. Ricci Farms and Poppy Lou, along with the Cannabis Podcast, thanks for being in Tom's Army for 6+ months with the XRP Predictor. Love all of you. Cannabis Podcast, I'm looking forward to your next piece of content. I love everything you put out so far with you just help so many people if they're willing to listen with the holistic nature of cannabis and all the things we can do with it. Let's see. Who did I miss? Jeffrey McGuire, thanks for being in Town Center for over 2 years with the XRP 589 Moon Badge. Miss Stott says, good evening, everyone. Broke down on the freeway and now at a diesel shop. Thank God it's beautiful weather in Louisiana. Oh, Mrs. Stott, please be safe. Never any fun, but at least you seem to have a good, you knew exactly what you were doing, so at least you got off to somewhere safe, it sounds like, but just be safe. And we hope that it goes very smoothly here. I'm honored that you would watch even in these circumstances. Thank you so much. Elmer J. Fudd, welcome in. Hi. How are you? Hold on one sec, everybody.
Hey, Lucky. Come here. Come help Mama. Come help Mama. Come here. Come on. Come help me.
Sorry about that. Oh, wow, we lost 20 people. That was quick. That's kind of a shame, actually. We're going through some good stuff here. Whatever. I can't control that. Nor am I going to try to control. My son's autistic, nonverbal, so it happens. Bitcoin, it's kind of a shame, though, to come back and see that many people left. That's, but yeah, looking for this continuation push to 93,373 if this continues properly. It's even better illustrated here when you look at the attempt, if we're going to break out it. The structure is actually up about 93,071. So that's actually, we're at an interesting spot. We're basically in the in-between right now. We've had to break out of the micro part of this pattern, and now we're trying to finish the deal here. And then if we end up playing this out properly, then you start talking about getting up to that almost 107K, right around 107.3, and then you look and you say, well, where's the rising wedge? And if we hit it then, that puts us into late January, early February when we start to get to that area. So, you know, we could enjoy January. It looks like we're going to have a okay January here. I like it, though. I like it. I like what's going on. Silver price action, it's tricky. We won't know until the futures comes on tomorrow night, but I'm still paying attention to, at least with the gold, being in a topping reversal and below this pattern structure. It almost looks like it could pull down, in gold that is, and try to retest maybe the uptrend or 4,115. It would do a lot of good to contract here a little bit, because then you would just push back through. Silver, again, it's very tricky right now. It's within a bullish, well, we don't know if it's bullish or bearish consolidation, but we're going to find out soon. But normally I would say, oh, it's going to erupt on Saturday, but this whole situation just didn't feel right to me. They capture the Venezuelan president, but he's basically looks like he's in a suit and tie, and it looks like he just got done eating breakfast with his wife. You know, maybe got done with a massage or something. Looks like they were hanging out, smoking some stogies first. Like, he don't look like a guy who was just captured by another country. So it doesn't seem right to me. So it almost seems like we should expect oil, gold, and silver and stuff like that to go up. But I wouldn't be surprised if they take this time to drop oil and have a big drop in oil. Maybe that's how we get down to the prices we talked about. Gold and silver will be fine. It's just, I'm going to be interested to see how it plays out for the next couple of weeks here. Because we know that they're changing the capital requirements and have been on the call options for silver. So that drives the price down. But eventually that paper stuff is going to dry out. And there's so much delivery needing to be made with the new batteries and the EV vehicles that are speculated to have 1 kilo of silver in each. We know each phone made by Samsung, even with the most, not for the going forward, the most basic tech is like an ounce of silver they're gonna have to be required to use. You know, and a lot of things too, and it doesn't seem like a lot, but it's definitely it definitely is setting up in a very interesting way. I'm actually happy to see that we tried to have some upward volatility, you know, as I'm here live. Because it's, I mean, it's set up in a confined fashion. XLM is trying to break out of this wedge. It's in this falling wedge. And this target out can get us up to 25. It could absolutely get us out to 25. Even higher, too, if it broke past here. I mean, you're talking about trying to retest this breakdown. Somewhere around 30, 32 cent. Well, not 32. But if you match this up, it could hit somewhere around that 30.8 cents. Now, these would be nice moves. Very nice moves. And then we could see, do we have to come back down? The one good thing is volume predicts price. We've gotten a little bit of volume in here. If you compare it to the 4-hourly dump candles, this is good news. Now, can we continue with the volume? And it's nothing great, but at least it's stronger than we were getting in that consolidation zone. But we need much more volume to you know, to prove that this was going to be a run that could continue. But there is really, if you look at the grand scheme, the alarming factor is there's really no volume coming in. And there really isn't. And this isn't just a slap on Exxon. This is everything. Roman law, you come in here just to say XDC is garbage. Oh, I see. I see what's going on here. Got a couple of people in here who want to cause some ruckus. Meh, so be it. But in 2026, I really don't care, honestly. I have a progressive thought. If you don't like XDC, who gives a fuck? I don't. If you felt the need to come in here just to say that it was trash, that's fine. But you know, to each their own, I suppose. But I will say you will be given a you know what soon. Because you're going to sit here and go, oh my God, I was watching this guy and all I did was call them trash and things like that. And I couldn't look past my own emotions. You know, and then where you see where it ends up going, then it's going to be the same kind of conversation I had with people with XRP. Said the same thing with XRP when it was at 30 cents and yada, yada, yada. And now at $2 plus, they call it trash and things like that. And the only reason they call it trash now is because they didn't buy it when it was at 30 cents. Or some people have been in since 2017 because they're riding cycles instead of understanding time in market has nothing to do with timing the market. If you're not timing the market properly, who cares how long you're in the market? So I mean, there's that profound viewpoint that people have. They're gonna come in here and they're gonna say stuff like that, and it's fine. Teach their own. But I'll just say we've done this before. We're going to continue to do this. I heard the same thing with silver. I heard the same thing with, you know, the cryptos before this last rally from 24 to 25. I hear it all the time. I love people like you, by the way. I love people like you. I do. Let's see. I like people like Roman who say that. You think XRP, H-bar, and XLM is where it's at, but you don't think XDC fits the narrative? I don't want to say anything rude to you, but look up the R3 quarter if you think that the ones that you pick, and then you think that XDC, you like XRP and XLM, but you don't have any love for XDC, which seems to, if I was a robot, I'd blow up right now with your logic. But hey, thank you, Roman, for the input. Now we'll always know that you think XDC is a pile of shit. Let's see. Oh, no negativity. I'm just trying to figure it out. No negativity. I'm trying to wrap my head around why you don't like it, but everybody everybody has their own. You know what? I shouldn't question what you're saying because everybody has their own vision. And how can I hate what you're saying? You like XRP, H bar, and XLM. Like those are all winners in my book. So how could I even be? I'm just glad that you approve of those three. Actually, 3 out of 5 on the hat's not bad. Um, I'm just busting your balls, Roman. You're here quite often. I figured you could take it. I'm just trying to, for some viewing entertainment. I wanted to ask the question the way I did, but I completely respect what you're saying. I actually respect it because a lot of people, they are in the camp of XRP XLM, or maybe they're XRP XDC, or maybe they're just XLM or just XDC or just XRP, and they have their own reasons. So makes sense to me. Makes sense to me. But how is XDC doing? Someone asked. It made the push we talked about yesterday to the resistance, or I mean, earlier this morning on the live. But now we need to have the continuation out, because if we did break down here, there's still the possibility that, we could come back down here. But XDC very often likes to have this consolidation, push back up, consolidation. It back tested now perfectly, which after a breakup, you always want to see a good volatile back test. And then if you get a hold, it's a game changer. We're oversold in some of the smaller time frames, but I want to make sure that this doesn't turn into like a head and shoulders style thing. So in comparison to the rest, right now, I would say we want to watch the rest of the market to see if it gets another push up here, and then how it reacts. But what I'm seeing right now is standard operating procedure. Golden cross here, 20 cross the 50. Now the 50 cross, or the 20 cross the 200. Now the 50 crossed the 200. We back tested the golden cross after the 50s now crossed 200. Now the 100's getting ready to cross it. If we hold this, and we've known this was a liquidity zone, we need to get on top of it. So if we get rejected and beaten down by it, well, then we're going to end up finding ourselves back at the bottom of this at 4.3 or 4.1. Which, and long term, we might end up finding our way there. So let's see. D Billy, thank you so much for the $20 super chat. I really, really appreciate that. And I do, I have to go through the ball busting a lot, so I do appreciate the super chats, believe me. The ones who pay it forward, you mean more than you know. You mean more than you know. It says, you are amazing. I greatly, greatly appreciate that. I do. So, so very much. Let's see. Zolam says, Mr. Tom, as you know, patience is key. It sure is. It sure is. Very, very key. Thank you, Elmer. I appreciate it. It says, very good show. Big Sting says, XRP, XTC, and Kabishi are my big holdings 3 times in the last year. My Kabishi, she has 10x. Then I sell some and buy more. XRP, each time Kabishi hits its bottom at 10x within 45 days. My XRP bag going to be huge. I like how you have a plan with what you're doing with it as well. I like that plan. I like your plan. Taking profits, and you like XRP, so you're expanding it with I like it. We'll see. I want to see. XLM, I want to see what it does here. I want to see what it does here. It's going to be a guiding stone for some of the other ones. Like we had a nice push out, retracement, back test. Now, if we can push out here, this is where we're going to get some real volatility. This move isn't done yet, so either way, even if we contract it down, it's not done to the top side yet. It's just, when you put it like with XLM versus XRP, we've talked about it. But when you look at the XLM XRP pairing, I have more faith right now where it's at in the part of the pattern versus XRP, because in the weekly, we're so oversold versus XRP. Now, when you go to XDC, in the pairing, you're overbought, which leads me to believe that we're having something's going to happen here to where either XRP and XLM runs unabated, or we have some kind of fall off here for XDC when the other ones are running. I don't know. But something seems to be building here to where And make no mistake about it, XDC in the monthly versus XRP is just pushing up right now. You know, but there's that one key area right now that we're so overbought in the weekly versus XRP as to where XLM is just so undervalued. Seems like the better play versus XRP right now. And I love XDC, I hold it. So, you know, it's gonna be all I can tell you is hold on, because it's gonna be a fun little ride here. That's all I can say. Just hold on tight. Don't let go of what you know. XRP just broke over $2.04. We should put more of a focus on XRP today, as it's been making us bank the last couple of days. And some people come in here and it's only up 1.3%. Yeah, you know, 1.3% if you bought it right now is, you know, is what it is. But when 2.6 cents from where we bought it is essentially a 7 to 8% move, you know. And it's dummied down now because the price is going up. Like, think about it. If you got in at the right time with XRP and you're holding it, like, let's just say you have the 10,000 tokens from 30, 40, 50, 60 cents, whatever the case may be. And as the future appreciates, you know, we're not talking about sub $1 right now, are we? During this bearish consolidation that we've been in. During this, you know, almost 1 year bear market, we never went back under $1 and held it. Look, we're sitting at $2 plus right now. So think about the difference, what can happen, and how quickly this can go if you have another 3, 4, 5x. It can go very quickly. And this is also where you price out retail, the retail trader. So people are like, well, you're not, and no, you're not, because I can still buy it. You can. You can. I there's no doubt about it, but for 1,500 tokens right now is about what you would have got 10,000 for when we were buying. You know, that's a big difference. And then some people are like, well, what's the difference if you bought Algo right now? Well, you know, because before Algo was over $2. That's why we weren't buying it then, and we were buying XRP when it was cheap, because we said that XRP is the one that's actually in position to run, and it was going to do the best out of all the other ones we talked about for a reason. And it did. It really did. You can look at a couple others that ran like XRP, and maybe some of the memes, and some of the other ones that ran a little bit more, but it was a star. And then when all the rest of them did, we were able to get rid of what we needed to get rid of. And now on the bottom of all of these, we cleaned up. We cleaned up. We just have a plan. The plan's nowhere near being completed at all. We're in the midst of it. But I have no doubt in my mind with the tokens we speak of that it's going to explode. And, you know, there's some other things I do hold. It's just they're being held. Nothing's being done with them. I have XRP Healthcare. I have VeChain. And Epic. Those are the three that I don't talk about. Well, CRO because I have to have for the crypto Visa debit card. But you know, they just kind of do their own thing and they get lost in the background for a reason. Because VeChain is in a very desirable spot right now. You know where it's at. It's so cheap. You know, it's just that's not part of this plan. I love it, but it's not part of this particular plan. Yep, XDC absolutely lags the rest. In this case, though, it's out in front of some of them. Remember that. It's a little bit different. It's lagging because it's out in front right now. On a lot of things. You know, even in the weekly, it started to reverse before everything else. Daily, it's already got way back up here while everything else was still trying to figure out its consolidation zone. So this is why we need to see if this continues out. It's a big deal because we want to see this come up to the 200-day in the daily. And if this does it, everything else is going to follow too. You can see a little bit of a dispersion right now. Look how low we are in comparison. I mean, we're catching up a little bit now. The one that's still, to me, because XRP can still get over this next area. And this is what I'm trying to wait for this ultimate push up. So we can try to say we're back in wave 4, you know, or we are in wave 4 and we actually look like it's going to happen. Yes, sir, I hustle harder than you. Pepe ran 30%. You're going to see a bunch of them that run. I don't waste my time with the ones I don't hold, honestly. I don't care. I'm God bless everybody who's in Pepe, but I don't get worried about all of that. I don't like the wandering eye, so I just kind of try to stay focused to what I have on my page. That's what I got back to. And that's why everything's in such a unified fashion, and that's why I can put together the content in a better way. I'll never be the person who has 10,000 people watching me because I don't give that kind of hopium. But when we do have bull runs, I have 3, 4, 5, 600 people in here watching in the live, believe it or not. It happens every time. The last bull run, we had 400 and 500 people in here back in November of 24. And, you know, until that ran out in late December. But that's when people come, when we have the big rallies. Or when we have the big drops, you'll notice. All the meme tokens will go away in time. Don't waste your time. No utility. No use case. But I'm pumped randomly. Shiba has more use case and had really ran. Yeah, Shiba, it does have a use case. And it's getting a good upgrade next year. I mean, this year now. It's 26, I mean, 2026. Yeah, it's in a prime spot. It's in a prime spot. We gotta watch after this phase is out now. But right now, I'm not mad about what's going on. I'm very happy with what's happening right now. You know, I've been more I'm sure everybody knows how bullish I've been since that drop. It's for a reason. It's definitely for a reason. I appreciate everybody who's tuning in, though. I do. I really do. It takes a certain kind of personality to want to be a part of this community. You know, you gotta want it. You gotta want the truth too. Bitcoin dominance. Looks like we might be coming down through that J hook. If we get rejected here, it'll bounce down very quickly. If we do round back up, then it could come back up to 60%, which would be kind of. It's not such a bad thing because we're still following Bitcoin, so. It absolutely is getting an upgrade. You're right about that. Not all meme coins will go away, but some will. There won't be. You got to remember, there's a lot of. I know a lot of people don't pay attention to this, Devin. I know you do, so you understand. So there'll always be some meme coins for people to trade because they do love them. But with the Clarity Act and that kind of regulation, it actually takes away from some of the DeFi and some of the meme market. There's a lot of written up stuff. People are going to be pretty pissed off. No, I don't talk about people who steal people's money and have legal cases against them since 2021. I don't glorify people like that. Let's see what kind of I want to see one thing real quick. I want to see where the crypto fear and greed index is and where the Bitcoin long and shorts are, or where the long and shorts are for the crypto. And then, you know, I won't keep you guys all night. I'm not quite done yet, but I won't keep everybody all night, I promise. I just, I don't know, I felt like I needed to come on tonight. For a second time on the weekend. Even though my son's being very patient. I think Julie's got him in the room. Extreme fear still at 25, that's crazy. Is it really? That's unbelievable. We became more fearful from yesterday with the push up. That's what we want to see. This is what we want to see. You want to see stuff like this. People are becoming more fearful on this bullish push. That's a good sign. That's a good sign. This is good. Bitcoin long and short ratio for the last 24 hours. We've got Bitcoin 51.14% going long, 48.86% going short. But remember, and I shared this, and I shared it in the Telegram, but if you're part of Tom's Army, you can go in the Telegram whenever you want. I don't know, I put a lot of shit out here today. Let's see. So over 73% of liquidations the last 24 hours was from short traders and cryptocurrency. And I just said spot is king for a reason. And then I said quiz time, is it time? But no, only one person responded, but it is what it is. People don't like information. I told you. A lot of people, If I go on there and say, oh, XRP is going to go up 10,000% in a night, I'll get 8,000 views in, 2 hours. What's the point? What's the point? Seems kind of cheap and lazy and just, it's the wrong thing to do. You don't want to make money and make fame by ripping people off. It's just not right. I could do it so easily. It's my personality. I could be the biggest canonical con artist you've ever seen. It's like all these other people, but it doesn't, there's no sense. There's no sense. So I'll be happy with my 87 viewers today. And we just couldn't recover after I had to get up for my son. Like, we were on a good trajectory. We were up to 120 people. And then by the time I came back, we were down to 85, and it killed the algorithm. It's a finicky little guy, isn't it? That algorithm's a very finicky one. You wouldn't believe how much it helps to get a simple like and a share. And when I put videos out, like, when they're actually posted, it'd be nice for people to comment. Most of the time I just get people commenting that rag on me, so that gets a little bit, it's like, wow, I can't believe so many people are so mean when somebody's putting out free content, all this, the goodness of the community, and you get so much grief. But I embrace it, because then you can actually get a better market understanding. So I embrace it. But I am human, so it still bothers me. But I embrace it. But we're breaking it out. We back tested perfectly. Hit that 89K. I mean, it seamlessly is doing this. So seamlessly. I would be very excited. I don't think there's enough excitement in the crypto space for what's going to happen in the next 6 to 9 months. Because when we go into those midterms, it's going to be something. They don't like to not elevate the market. And crypto risk assets is a very big one. Mr. Tom, I understand, as you know, my son got arrested in New York for skateboarding. He's also a special kid after all. They dropped the case. I know what you're going through. Oh, I'm so glad they dropped the case, and that's so unfortunate. It's something that terrifies me, having a special needs son that, he's nonverbal, so, like, you never know what they could do, so, when he gets older. So that's definitely, even being younger, you never know. So it's definitely, that's a part that, unless you have a child like that, you couldn't even imagine. So, like, a lot of people give me shit because of how I act and the way that I have to leave so much during the lives and things like that. In a perfect world, yeah. It'd be a little bit different. You could have 3-hour lives and you could do other things, but it's the world that I have is my perfect world. So I fit everybody else into it. And I make no apologies for what I do. Zero. Bitcoin dominance, we already went over. The total is up 0.75%. Pushing out here perfectly in the 4-hourly. Should be breaking up probably into this 313 area. But eventually, if this continues, and this actually is reversing now, we should come up and retest the breakdown of what looks like a rising wedge up here even, at 3.65 trillion area. And it seems to be doing exactly what it's doing. It looks exactly like what we want to see. Bright Future Freedom said, hey Tom, I told the T-Mobile guy about you and the telly yesterday. That does count. That definitely counts. Start a silver channel. I've done a lot of silver content and gold content on here. As much as I like it, this wouldn't even be the right time to start a silver channel. I would have started it back in 21, 22, 23. Right now, we're in the right spot because crypto is so undervalued. And the gold and silver right now is starting to become the limelight. And you know what happens when the general public starts talking about it. I couldn't convince this audience to talk about it when it was dirt cheap. I couldn't convince people to watch my videos. I couldn't convince people to even buy gold and silver for the most part. Maybe 5% of my audience ended up taking my advice. years ago, but you know, that's how you know it's almost jumping the shark right now, because so many people are interested in gold and silver now. So many people that normally wouldn't talk about it are starting to talk about it now. It's kind of like what I said in crypto back last January. Well, the local gas station attendee is telling me what to buy when I was sitting here and I wrote him a roadmap of what to buy in 23, and he basically just threw it away. But the same guy told me in 25 to start buying Bitcoin. It's like, uh-oh. Uh-oh. Mrs. Stott, I didn't have a metals channel, but I started trading in those, and commodities and mining stocks and building precious metals holdings before I started my YouTube channel. As you guys know me. Oh, Elmer started a silver channel. Wait a minute, started. Oh, you started a silver channel. Oh, start a silver channel now the time I did. Oh. Oh, I see what you're saying. You started your own silver channel. Is that what you're saying? Interesting. Interesting. Good evening, True. I'm so glad to see you in here. I know it's towards the end of this. I gotta get back to my son, but I appreciate you tuning in, True. One of my favorite people. So helpful to the audience when we were in the last bear market. I can only imagine that he made some people very happy with what he was trying to get across with the technicals and how much help he was giving. Oh, he's a legend in here. Some of you might not know him, but he's a legend. Let's see. But yeah, I agree with Maritime. No reason to make a prediction. $10 by April. There's no reason. We don't need to do that. We don't need to do that. Yeah, we don't need to do that, because it doesn't matter. You've already lost when you put a time schedule on it. Because what if it hits $10 by July? Are you now wrong because it didn't hit it by April, or if it hits it in 27? Like, I don't like timetables. Only when the charts tell me a timetable. When it says we're having converging and we have to have an apex. You know, the apex is here and you can't change the apex. Do I think the Clarity Act is bad for Toshi? I think it's bad for everything. I think it's bad for crypto as a whole. This was designated, and the reason why it was made was to be an unregulated market. The moment you start adding regulation, this was supposed to be like the Wild West. Everybody's like, oh, it's going from the Wild West to a civilized. No. It's going from Wild West, where you had to be very knowledgeable of what you were doing or you were about to get scammed. Or now you have somebody who's going to make you plug in with biometrics and do everything you can imagine that you don't want to do to trade this market. So no, it's not going to be good. In fact, it's going to be what pushes me out of the market in the end. I'll still be here, but it's going to be what's why I won't be trading the market at some point. I hope it pushes out and we never have to deal with it, but it's something that scares the crap out of me going forward. So with that being said, I'm going to leave before all my audience leaves. I'm going to leave before all of you. Have a blessed evening. I appreciate you tuning in on the second live. If you ever want to pay it forward, you can always consider subscribing to Tom's Army. I would love to see some more members of Tom's Army. We're not doing very well to start the last couple of weeks. So with that being said, thank you all so much. I'll continue to try to give you my time, but remember, the